There are so many characters who have been announced to be joining the MCU over the next few years. I mean, we have the Eternals, Black Knight, Moon Knight, Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Blade, US Agent, and probably a bunch of others who I have forgotten to include. But there is one character that I'm surprised hasn't been announced to be joining the hero lineup, because all the setup to introduce him has been done, and it now seems like the perfect time to bring him in. But alas...
Earwax.
Hey, Dumbledore, I was talking, and you're not even supposed to be in this video. I mean, this is a video about Marvel, not Harry Potter, so if you wouldn't mind, just get out of here. Shoo. Sorry about that, but anyways, as I was saying, that character is Nova, and I would really love to see him in the movies. So today, I thought I would explain how I would introduce Nova into the MCU. Last week, I made a video about who Nova is, and if you missed it, I highly recommend you go watch that video before this one, especially if you don't know much about the character of Nova. All you have to do is click the little icon, and then there's the little box with the picture, and you click on that, and it takes you right to the video. It's that easy. But if you don't want to watch that video, or just need a quick refresher, Nova is a young man by the name of Richard Rider. He was your pretty typical high school kid until he was chosen by Ramonday, the last surviving member of the Nova Corps, to inherit his power and become Nova Prime. And like I said, if you want to learn more about Nova, just go watch my other video. It's just 2 clicks. That's all there is to it. All of the groundwork to introduce Nova has already been laid out. Ramonday was introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy, played by John C. Reilly. You know, Wreck-It Ralph.
My name's Ralph, and I'm a bad guy.
Because, yeah, other people think of Wreck-It Ralph first when they hear John C. Reilly, and that's not just me. That's definitely what he's known for. In the movie, he arrests Star Prince.
Hey! That isn't Star Prince.
Star-Lord.
Oh, sorry, Lord.
And also has a wife and a daughter. Then all we need is for him to be the last surviving member of the Nova Corps. But how could this happen? I mean, there was a whole big army of them in Guardians of the Galaxy. And I mean, yeah, I know a bunch of them got blown up, but I mean, there was still a bunch of them walking around and stuff at the end. Well, in Infinity War, there was this little thing that you may have missed. Watch this clip and see if you can spot it.
There's 6 stones out there. Thanos already has the Power Stone because he stole it last week when he decimated Xandar.
In case you didn't catch it, Thanos decimated Xandar. So yeah, decimating the planet where the Nova Corps operates would certainly be able to wipe out most of them. It would be really easy for Marvel to say that Ramonday was the last surviving member of the Nova Corps now. And that puts it in a perfect position for Nova to be introduced. But how should they do it? I think Nova would work best as a movie, but I can also definitely see them doing him as a Disney Plus show, especially considering how important it seems like those shows are going to be. But for me, I just think a movie would work better for him, and if I were writing the movie, this is how I would do it. The movie opens on Xandar in 2018, and we see that the planet is thriving, being protected by the now superpowered Nova Corps. We see that during the 4 years that they were protecting the Power Stone, they somehow used it to tap into this immense cosmic power that they dubbed the Nova Force, and they share that power amongst themselves, so they now have the ability to fly, as well as enhanced strength and durability. I think all this should be set up within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, and then boom! Thanos. Boom, 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 Thanos. I want to see an epic battle as Thanos attacks, sword in hand, and just forges away through the Nova Corps to the Power Stone. We see Thanos versus the entire might of superpowered Xandar, but even that isn't enough to stop him. But I don't think it should be easy for him, at least not until he gets the Power Stone. I want to see him struggle to fight off the Nova Corps, and then finally make his way to the stone, ditch his sword, and destroy the planet. I think the battle should really focus on the viewpoint of Ramonday as he tries to stop Thanos, but ultimately is unsuccessful and only barely escapes with his life. Unfortunately though, the rest of the planet isn't so lucky. From there, we see Day in a ship, slowly tracking Thanos and his army and making his way to Earth. Day knows that he will not survive much longer, and so in a last-ditch attempt, he transfers his power onto someone on the planet below. Then we cut to young Richard Rider, somewhere between the ages of 8 and 10, and he is hit with the power and knocked unconscious. Then there's a cool transition of showing him being knocked unconscious and then waking up years later as a teenager with just the words at the bottom of the screen, X years later, with obviously the X being replaced by however many years after the movie takes place, depending on when it comes out, and yeah, that sort of thing. Ryder is now about the age of 17 and in high school, and we see a pretty typical day for him until something traumatic happens, such as, like, I don't know, him being kidnapped and thrown off a roof or something like that, and his powers are awakened for the first time. Ryder passes out and receives a telepathic message that Day left for him, explaining to him what the Nova Force is, as well as his new great power and responsibility, because, you know,
with great power comes great responsibility.
Day gives him the Centurion armor, and it says something along the lines of,
We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your fight.
I mean, come to think of it, Nova is just like a mashup of Spider-Man, Star Wars, and Green Lantern. From there, I don't really know who a great main villain for the movie would be. I'm thinking don't keep him on Earth for too long, just maybe have him take out a few low-level baddies, but then somehow be called into space and have to fight some intergalactic threat, like, I don't know, maybe the Shi'ar or something like that. I mean, I can see that working. We see him learn to use his powers and overcome this threat, and then vow to use his powers to protect Earth and other planets as Nova, the human rocket. For the credit scenes, I think the first one should be Nova meeting the Guardians of the Galaxy, setting up future team-ups between them. And then for the second one, I think it should reveal that Garth Saul, who is actually also in Guardians of the Galaxy and kinda got squashed, is actually still alive and has been driven crazy by absorbing too much of the Nova Force, setting him up as the villain for the second. I think the second movie should be titled something along the lines of Nova 2. Or maybe something much cooler than that. I don't know. In this movie, we should see Ryder and Saul meet and fight and stuff. Yeah, cool! Then I think Saul should steal Ryder's power. And Ryder, along with the Guardians of the Galaxy, should travel to Xandar where they defeat Saul, and Ryder gets his powers back. Yay! Then, as he does in the comics, Ryder should use the full power of the Nova Force to restore Xandar. Again, yay! Then, the end credits for this movie should set up Annihilation, which leads into the third movie, Nova. Annihilation. The finale of his trilogy should be like Captain America Civil War, in the sense that it's called Nova, but there's also a bunch of other dudes there. I think it would be really cool to see Nova leading a team of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Fantastic Four, Quasar, and Captain Marvel against the forces of Annihilus, and then it ends in an epic one-on-one battle between Annihilus and Nova. I think this would be a great trilogy for the character of Nova, and I mean, of course, he would also appear as a supporting character in other movies, like maybe The Avengers. I mean, that'd be pretty sweet. But really, I just have my fingers crossed that we get Nova introduced in the movies sooner rather than later. And yeah, that's about it. And some of my ideas I really like the idea of. Like the movie opening with Thanos wrecking Xandar. I mean, that is something I need in my life. But then a lot of other bits I feel like could really be improved, and I definitely think the writers over at Marvel could do a much better job at coming up with ideas than I did. That is, as long as they come up with ideas and announce a Nova movie already. I mean, come on, guys! And yeah, that's really all I've got for you today. And if you have any ideas of ways to improve my story, or things you would do entirely differently when introducing Nova, you can let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like on it by clicking the like button. I mean, that's what it's there for, believe it or not. And I mean, you can share the video with your friends too. I'm sure they'd also enjoy it. And if you want to be sure you never miss a video from me in the future, you can subscribe and hit the notification bell. And trust me, I've got a lot of videos that I'm working on, and I'm sure you don't want to miss them. But anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I do really hope that you enjoyed it. And that's all I've got for you today. I'll see you next time. Rubik's Cube. I picked up a... Ow! I'm gonna put it...